Today, I get to share something that I have been working towards for months. An exciting milestone that I finally reached on my GLP-1 journey. It hasn't been easy, and there have been wins and challenges and side effects along the way. But in this video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes so that you know what it's been like and how I've reached this milestone. Hi, I'm Anissa, and you're watching Reset with Anissa. This is my journey towards reclaiming my health. I want to lose 50 pounds, move out of the obese BMI category, reverse my type 2 diabetes, and just reclaim my health so that I can live a long and healthy life. Thanks for joining me. So let me back up and tell you where this all started. In late April, I saw a picture of myself and I didn't look how I wanted to look. I recognized that I had not been really taking care of myself. I'd just been living, just surviving. I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I had not even been regularly taking my glucose levels to know where I was. I knew I needed an entire health overhaul. So I connected with my primary care physician and with Virta Health, which is a telehealth company that helps people to reverse their type 2 diabetes. And I found that my A1C was 14.1, which is more than double of where you would reach just to be a type 2 diabetic. I was very close to having to go on insulin, so I was desperate to do anything not to have to do that. I was about 205 pounds at that point. My primary care physician and Virta Health recommended that I start Mounjaro, and that would help to reduce my blood glucose, which would reduce inflammation in my body and help me to lose weight. Because the idea was that if I reduce the number and the size of the fat cells in my body would better be able to have some insulin sensitivity, which would allow me to also lose weight because I'm 5'6" tall. And 205 pounds just put me in the obese category. Once I got that terribly high number, overhauled my diet. I've done keto before. What I did do was reduce my carbohydrates immediately, and I stopped buying all of the things that I knew I never should have been eating anyway. I have a voracious sweet tooth. There is a convenience store on my way home from work, and inevitably I will be tired after leaving school and stop and pick up chips or candy and soda and all the things I knew I should not be eating. So since that day in May, I have not used those habits. I'm not stopping at the convenience store and buying chips and candy and soda. So that was the beginning of my overhaul. Now, all I knew about GLP-1 medication is what I'd seen on television. Celebrities using Ozempic, the news coverage about people getting stomach paralysis. So I was pretty hesitant to even consider it. But since my A1C was so high and I didn't want to go on insulin, I just decided I've got to do it. One thing I did talk to my doctor about was my fear of nausea and vomiting. I just cannot function if my stomach is upset. I can't go to work, I can't drive, I can't do anything. I can take many things, but nausea and vomiting, I cannot take. So my doctor prescribed the medication Zofran and advised that I eat a full meal before I try my injection. So thankfully, nausea and vomiting has only happened to me once, and that was actually a week ago. It was the first time I had birthday cake with frosting, and now I know I cannot have super sweet things on this journey, and that's okay with me. So even though I was nervous about starting the GLP-1, I really didn't have terrible side effects. The side effect I noticed most at the start was fatigue. And when I say fatigue, I was so tired after my first 2.5 milligram injection that I laid down in the bed the next day and used DoorDash for 2 of our meals. But the next week, when it was time for injection number 2, I experienced a little fatigue, but not as much. I stayed on 2.5 milligrams for an entire month. I moved to 5 milligrams. I started experiencing some different symptoms. Dry mouth, and dry mouth so badly that I felt like I didn't have enough saliva, and I was starting to think that I had something that would make me stop taking Mounjaro. I also experienced constipation. That was probably a combination of the medication, and more likely I have trouble with hydration. I'll connect my latest video right here. That video tells you about a time when I fainted briefly and I was dehydrated. So hydration is a real problem for me. But I lost weight on 2.5. I stayed on that for 1 month. 5 milligrams, 2 months, I lost weight. Not a lot of weight. I never lost more than 2 pounds in any particular week. And there were weeks where I lost a half a pound. Then in August, I started thinking that my weight loss was slowing down. My fasting glucose was in the hundreds, low hundreds. I wanted it lower. I moved up to 7.5 milligrams. That's where I am today. I think I could have stayed on 5 milligrams because 7.5 milligrams has made it a struggle to eat and a struggle to remember to even drink. I just don't have the sense of hunger or thirst. With all that being said, you would think that I would be losing a lot of weight on 7.5 milligrams. I'm not. So I am eating, or else I would be losing a lot of weight. So my main side effect on 7.5 milligram is simply an absence of hunger and an absence of thirst cues. But my energy is very high. I am not constipated, not at all, even with my poor hydration. I do not have nausea. I don't have vomiting. I'm pretty much okay on 7.5 milligrams. Here's the thing that I realize. It's my habits. The medicine helps me, but my habits had to change. If I were on this medication and I was still eating the candy and the chips, I would still be having this kind of heaviness. I doubt that I'd lose the weight that I've lost. If I didn't move my body, I don't think I would have lost the weight that I've lost. There were some mental challenges for me. Like I said, when I moved up to 7.5 milligrams, I fell into the classic GLP-1 trap, comparing myself to others. I saw others who'd started when I started and they were losing many more pounds, and I wanted the same weight loss. And I figured that moving up a dose would help. That's not true. I've since found out that just because you move up to a higher dose doesn't mean that your weight loss will accelerate. It might mean other things. It has really dulled my sense of hunger and my sense of thirst. So this has not been a straight line to success. There have been ebbs and flows, ups and downs. So like I said, this has not been a straight line to success. But that's what makes today's milestone feel so big. Since I started trying to reclaim my health, and this was even before I started Mounjaro, but we're talking just May of 2025, I am officially down 30 pounds, and I'm down 25 pounds since I started Mounjaro. Today, I am officially 175 pounds. Round of applause for me. Yay! And my goal weight is 150 pounds. And I only picked that particular weight because it looks like that puts me in the normal BMI range. Now, I have to say Mounjaro helped, but I really think that it was Mounjaro giving me just a good foundation. But without good habits, there's no way I would have made this milestone. Honestly, I thought I was going to make this milestone much faster than September, when you think that I started in May. Everything I've seen is people losing weight so quickly, but it finally happened. When I look at how I feel now in September compared to how I felt in May, it's amazing. I guess I got sick so slowly that I didn't even recognize how poorly I felt, how poorly I was sleeping, the lack of energy. It was just my normal. Now, when I go up and down the stairs at work, I don't feel so tired. When it's time to leave work at 3:30, of course you feel fatigued a little because you've been at work all day, but I'm not exhausted. I'm not so tired that I feel like I can't come home and cook, that I can't come home and just enjoy my day. So losing this weight and getting my blood glucose down, because it's a 1-2 punch for me. Those two things have made me, I feel normal again, if you can understand what I mean. I did when I was in my 20s and I was healthy. So here's where I'm headed. I think last week I did last 30 pounds video. I really had 28 to lose, but 30 is a nice round number. Now I truly have 25 pounds to lose. I'm not going to give myself a timeline. I am going to just keep moving every day, making the best nutrition choices, sleeping choices, and exercise choices that I can. And I feel like if I do those things, in addition to taking my Mounjaro every week, I am going to meet that 25-pound goal. Do I have a date in my mind that I hope I make it? I hope that by my birthday next year in 2026, I'll be double nickels. I'll be 55. I'd love to be able to meet my goal by then, but I'm giving myself grace. As long as I'm moving toward that goal, everything is going to be okay. So all in all, I really am so happy. I feel like I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm 30 pounds down, 25 pounds down since Mounjaro. I'm getting close to my goal. I'm closer to my goal than I am to my beginning. I'm 25 pounds away from my goal. And I want to thank you for being here and being a part of my journey. If you want to follow along, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you know when I release videos, and like this video. And I can't wait to see you next week.